Hello, everybody! Hello! Welcome one, welcome all to this stream. I am the one and only BethAnime19, the half-human, half-owlbear streamer. As you can see, it is daytime, and I am the lovable human. And we've got a really fun stream today. We are playing a really cute game, but I have a really special guest with me. I have got ADHD Sketchers with me. Hello!
Hi! Oh my goodness, it's so fun to be here.
Yes, welcome. We are playing a game you have worked on called Big J's Rattastic Adventure.
Oh my gosh, I did help create this.
Yeah, I'm very excited to kind of see what this game is about, and thank you enough for trusting me with getting me the Steam code for this.
Oh, of course. Anything to help your little channel out. Of course, promote me. Yes, I'm a shameless self-promoter.
Yes, for sure. And guys, if y'all haven't already, it is $2.99 on Steam. I went ahead and pinned the where you can find the game. If you guys like what you see here, make sure you guys go check it out on Steam. So how it's gonna work? We're just gonna play for a little bit, kind of see, just see what this game really is about, and then a little bit afterwards, we're gonna do a very short Q&A session. So it's probably not gonna be a big stream, like it's not gonna be like 2 to 3 hours long. I'd just say like an hour, hour and a half, but I don't know. We're gonna play it by ear and see what happens. We're gonna play it by ear, baby. But before I get into that, Addie, where can people find you if you want to do your little social plugins?
Sure, would you like me to just put them in the chat? I can also say them out loud. I am on Instagram at ADHD_Sketcher. I'll type that.
Yeah, go for it.
Nice
you got
visual
my
always
permission.
helps. It is in the chat at ADHD_Sketcher. I'm mostly known for paper crafting, and so making all these 3D models for Big J's Rattastic Adventure was definitely a learning challenge. Like, yes, I guess I technically work in a 3D environment, but the voxels, the assets in the game are more Minecraft-y.
Yeah.
So I had to learn how to model in a 3D space, and, well, very much trial and error.
Yeah, for sure. Alright, y'all sit back, relax, enjoy the stream, and let's get this started. Let me see if I can get my controller to connect. If not, I'm just gonna have to use the ye old mouse and keyboard.
You might need to use the mouse and keyboard just for the screen, like to select the level, but after that you should be good.
Oh, okay. Cool. So,
Ooh, going for tutorials.
tutorial tips. These should help read them. I should read them.
So I would argue the tips are unnecessary. This was at a time me and the developer and I have never done a 3D game before. This is produced by Merriman Games. He has done 2D games before, side-scrollers. And so he figured signs would be very helpful, but then we started seeing people play the game and they were completely ignoring the signs, and so we just did the classic, not Miyazaki, who's the lovely man from Nintendo?
Miyamoto?
Miyamoto. Take a page out of his book, and players don't really want to be interrupted with signs. The best way to teach a player how to navigate the world is through trial and error, but give them, like, safe spaces to do so, you know?
Yeah. Ooh, I got an achievement.
Ooh, was it eat an apple or something?
No, collect money, and now I got the cheese. Jay lost his
Oh.
cheese after drinking too much. Oh my goodness. Pick up bottles and wheat juice to attack enemies. Okay then.
Yeah, feel free to play around in the tutorial level. There is an ad currently, just a heads up.
It's all good.
But originally, I was not scheduled to be the art director for this game. My friend, Merriman Games, was making a rat-based game. Like, he literally was just like, okay, it's a rat-based game. You run around as a rat, and you throw beer. And that was his, like, general premise. He already had an art designer, but they weren't, I think they were, like, working, like, 2 jobs or something, so he's like, well, this is getting kind of difficult. Addie, why don't you help me with this game? Oh yeah, sure, of course I can. Of course I'll help you with the game. And then he's like, okay, so you're gonna use something called magic of voxels. I'm like, oh, magic of voxels, what is that?
Oh my god, chaos!
Yes, I was nervous. I'm like, I don't know what this is. And so, like, you can tell in, like, the first 2 levels, actually not so much with the beach level anymore now that we redesigned it, but you can tell in the forest level, like, my sprites aren't that good. I definitely got better and better as the levels go on, and in fact, this spider right here was actually made by Merriman Games a while back. But for the most part, I've made, like, everything. That floating platform, that's one of my earlier platforms. I would not consider it my best work, but it is... I did it. I created that.
Yeah. Also, thank you, Chaos, for redeeming the Sephiroth sound alert. That's... If you didn't hear what I was hearing through the VOD, that was what I was saying. Oh my god, Chaos!
Oh.
That's why I was saying, I'm like, playing the Sephiroth theme.
Awesome. Now you get cheese.
Cheese. Ooh,
And you can just
beauty.
head on out.
Alright,
B. And what's funny about that grading sign is it's based off of how the USDA grades like dairy and meat. So instead of it saying USDA, it said CHZE for cheese.
Ah, got it. And thank you, Damo, for redeeming the Astarian gods. You're beautiful. Hey, there we go. Now I got the controllers.
All right, so this beach level, if I'm just gonna talk over you, apologies, but it went through a lot of redesign. This was like one of our ugliest levels, I will say. It just had like no life. But then once I got like more confident, once I was able to make better assets, because those shells on the ground, those are new. I just now got confident enough to make shells, a 3D shell. So that's new. As well as we added more pirate assets. Well, these lovely crabs that are in the crow's nest with pirates' hats, that was the only pirate stuff we had in the level until other people, our testers started saying, well, can we have more pirate stuff? And we're like, wait, why don't we have more pirate stuff? So the further you go on into the level, you'll see like the bow of a ship, you'll see, I think maybe a mast, and definitely sails and a little, I think I made a pirate flag. I'm pretty sure I did. Oh, Lord, I don't remember.
Nice.
So this level went through many redesigns. But it's the second level that we created. The first level we created, the forest level. This is the second level, and then the third was Rattopolis, which we demoed the city, Rattopolis, the beach level, and the forest level at Classic Games Fest last year.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my gosh, girly, are you going to be at Classic Games Fest this year?
Yes, I am.
Oh, well, wonderful, because we're going to be there I will be selling my paper crafts, but we'll also be demoing the game, and we'll be having new levels. So we should be having the dino level. It's a bonus level, so it's very small, but a dino-themed level, as well as a pumpkin festival-themed level.
Oh, nice. But...
So we'll get that spooky theme as well as the carnival. We have a carnival level, and there will be rideable rides in the Pumpkin Festival themed level.
Oh, that's cool. Also, hey Sarah, thank you, welcome in. Sorry, I'm not ignoring you, I promise. I'm just, we're chatting, so yeah, chat just to give y'all a heads up. If I'm not interacting and we're trying to make conversations, I'm not ignoring you guys. We're making conversations. But also chat, just a general reminder, once we get to the Q&A session, if you guys got any questions, feel free to think of some, and then we'll do that.
Awesome. I'd love to answer some questions. This game has been definitely a labor of love. It was only recently... Oh, you know what? I'm going to call that like a speedrunning tactic. He bumped you to the next area.
I know.
Well done.
Yeah.
But this has definitely been a labor of love. It wasn't until recently that I'm actually getting paid for my work.
Nice.
Yeah, so the beta version, not the beta version, there's a programming term for if it's not fully completed. Early access.
Yeah, early access.
early access of Big J's is currently available on Steam. And so now I'm actually able to work on this game while also getting paid.
Very nice. And guys, if y'all make sure, if you guys want to check it out, check the pinned chat thing I said in chat, and make sure y'all check it out and please support.
Oh yes, summer sale should be happening shortly, soon. I think mid-June. So instead of it being the very loud price of $2.99, it'll be down to I think $2. I don't remember what the discount is. So got that summer sale. Woo!
Go support.
All right. Yes, I did make. So I didn't make a pirate flag, but I did make a pirate sail with a pirate emblem on it. And then you just went on the bow of the ship, and then here is just containers or pieces of wood from the ship, as well as a wheel.
Nice.
So that's all new. Are you also planning to share this game through Steam Next Fest? Oh gosh, I don't know what that is.
It's like a little event. Cosmo, I want to say this is a small indie game, so let me Google it real quick.
Do you want me to Google Steam Next Fest?
Yes, please. Because I know that's usually like a big event.
I know we're being featured somewhere. The programmer would know all of this. I'm probably a celebration of upcoming games. Oh, June 9th through the 16th. Oh, probably not. In fact, I'm going to be in Houston 2 weeks from now for Comic Palooza. But yeah, this is very, very small indie game. It will be showcased at the Palmer Event Center in Austin for Classic Games Fest. Ooh, if you're gonna, feel free to check out Weird Woods. You can try Beach again. Sugar and Squeaks is very chill, calm. It's very much like I guess you could argue it's not much of a platformer. The Sugar and Squeaks level is more a walking simulator, but you have fun because you're walking around a giant cake. That's fun.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Since you mentioned Houston, my next con is Delta H Con in Houston. Will you be at Delta H Con?
That's a really good question. If I am going to be at Delta H, I'm probably going to be splitting with the wonderful Luna's Creations. Delta H is not one of the bigger conventions. It's kind of small, so
yeah.
me getting a table, since I do not live in the Houston area, the break-even cost would be too large, and my friend was like, you know what, why don't we just split it 10 by 10? We can easily do that. So if I am at Delta H Con, I will be splitting with another artist. I do need to check into that though, because I think Delta H.
That's like in a month.
I think it conflicts with another.
It's on July 18th through the 20th, and then the weekend after is Classic Game Fest.
Oh, I don't know if I can handle that. Oh my gosh, that might be too much. I did Delta H Con last year, and despite the fact that there was a giant hurricane that weekend,
yeah,
it had record numbers of attendees, and I sold out of so much stuff. And while it's great to sell out, oh my gosh, I sold so much stuff. Since my stuff's handcrafted and I had a convention the next week, I was just like, oh god, I'm gonna be so busy.
Yeah. I was just because when I made the decision, do I want to do 2 back-to-back weekends? Because even if I have to work and then be gone, then be here for a week, and then go visit my dad for Otakon for a whole week, that was just gonna be I'm wondering if that's gonna be too much for me, even with my work schedule. But then my dad's like, oh, we're just gonna be showing, it's just gonna be a short trip. You'll just come the day before Otakon and leave the day after. I'm like, okay. So that'll be easy. So I'm just like, I'll just go to both Delta and Classic Game Fest. And then, yeah, because my next con is Delta H Con on the 18th or the 20th. And then the weekend after, I've got Classic Game Fest, which is on the 25th through 27th of July. And then, yeah. And then August 8th through 10th, I am at Otakon in DC, and then on the 29th through the 31st of August, I am at San Japan.
You are busy, busy, busy. You're going to... I think you're actually going to more conventions than me, and I go to conventions to sell my stuff.
Yeah, I did 4 last year, so I was like, 5 is enough because I just saw you a few weeks ago at Riverwalk.
Yes, that was a really lovely convention. I really liked it.
It was fun, yeah. It felt way too fast for it, but since it was a 2-day con, I'm like, well, what do I expect?
It was great. I showcased... I don't know if you were able to see it. Were you able to see the lovely Kingdom Hearts papercraft I made?
I think I did. I can't remember.
Do not worry. I sold it pretty quickly, so it's all good. Alright, so yeah, this is one of the first levels we ever constructed, and this has been redesigned, I don't know, 3 or 4 times, because our lovely programmer, Merriman Games, he and I both have ADHD, and so rather than drawing out a map, he kind of like haphazardly put stuff in places. Moving forward, we have been doing, and I say we, it's me, I'm drawing out maps, and ooh, I was gonna say, you might be able to just like stick to it. But we've been, this level definitely went through the most, I don't know, cosmetic changes. And then the lovely Merriman Games is like, you know what? I'm tired of redesigning this. It's fine where it is. Whatever. I don't care. He's tired of redesigning it.
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough. Yeah, so this is literally one of the first levels we ever made. So a lot of the assets here are probably not mine. Like, for example, the gross slime creatures, the living mucus that you just passed. I did not create that. I did create the tiny models that you're jumping on, those tiny ground textures.
Oh, cool.
I don't think I made the mushrooms, but I know I made the tree that is beneath you. And then there are some pine trees that are here that I really like, that Merriman Games made. But he's like, I don't know, like, are these too ugly? Should they look different? I'm like, well, I mean, if you were to walk into a forest, you're not going to have the same tree copy and paste it over and over again. You're going to have a variety of trees. So I think we should keep your lovely pine trees. And then I can make alternate trees so it looks more foresty. Oh my god, this is living mucus. Look at that. That is just like moving snot. Ugh. And then the flags are new-ish. When we demoed at Classic Games Fest, we had lovely people come by, test the game, and then give beautiful feedback. They're like, okay, this is a really large level. Can there be checkpoints? Oh my god, that's a great idea. Yeah, we'll put checkpoints, of course. Oh, can you make the movement more fun? Can, like, Jay run faster? Oh my gosh, of course we can do that. That sounds like a great idea. Because Jay didn't always look like this. The rat model, he used to be gray, and then the pink was more pale, so honestly he looked a lot uglier. This model of Jay that you're moving around is based off of Merriman Games' own rat, Jay. Yes!
That is so cute!
So we use...
So it's like if Merriman Games was, a rat actually was on an adventure.
Yes! And so, unfortunately, since rats do not live very long, Big J has passed away, but he will forever be immortalized in game.
Aww.
We are thinking, we're trying to figure it out, but we are thinking of making costume changes. Like, can Big J look like a different rat, or can he like wear a hat, or maybe like a little cape? We're trying to figure that out, because again, there's only 2 people working on this game. The lovely me, the art designer, and the wonderful Merriman Games, the programmer, coder, quality of life improver. He also did all the sound effects and the music.
That's cool.
So it's just 2 people working on this. However, we are getting support from what's called IGDA. I think it's called the Indie Game Developers of Austin. We know a lot of programmers from there. Sometimes we'll do meetups, and they have been loads of help. Ooh, oh yes, actually, yes, keep going, because this is brand new. What you're about to go into is brand new.
Oh, the cannon?
The cannon, that is brand spanking new.
Yo.
I'm not gonna spoil anything. Just go into the cannon, see what happens.
Whee!
Whee! Okay, you're going into the air, and then...
Oh my goodness.
You're in a bonus level!
That is so clever!
We made a bonus level, and I recommended to Merriman Games. I'm like, okay, so
Whoops.
if it's a cloud, oh yeah, they're just clouds. Oh no, it's the cloud level. They should come back. Yeah, okay, good. And oh, you're gonna have to be faster than that, cutie. I think shift runs. Oh wait, I think one of the bumpers or triggers runs. If you start seeing dust particles, you're running.
Oh my goodness.
I think you have to run. I think it's a trigger or a bumper runs. I don't know. I don't know the controllers. Apologies.
Nah, you're good. You're good. Oh my god, I almost had it.
All right, we'll keep trying. The cloud level, the lovely Merriman Games is like, okay, let's have some like bonus levels that I can slowly release to tide over until we release like a giant level. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. So he made a cloud-based level. You're just running around, jumping. And we decided, okay, well, since it's the cloud level, what if you have to get to it from another level? So you have to like get into a cannon and be shot into the clouds in order to get to it. Hence the cloud level. And I kind of mapped this out. While I didn't design the cloud level, I did make a lot of the assets. Although the clouds are, I did not make the clouds. The lovely Merriman Games did a bunch of like coding shenanigans in order to make those lovely clouds. So that was not me. But the hot air balloons you see, I did make those.
Ready?
As well as the ground.
Whoa, oh. The way he spins his tail flying reminds me a lot of Tails from Sonic.
I think you're going Tails from Sonic. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So the reference I used for the tailcopter was from Ape Escape. I don't know if you've ever played Ape Escape.
Oh yeah, like I've not played Ape Escape, but I do know of it.
I used the helicopter. It was that weird like green tool. So that was my reference for the tailcopter. And it's a mix of 3D modeling, so his tail is actually spinning, but also it's a PNG or an image overlay. And it's just two images reflected so it looks like spinning copter. That was my reference. A lot of references in this game will be like older games like Banjo-Kazooie, a little bit of Conkers, Ape Escape as I mentioned. I mean, why reinvent the wheel? There's already amazing platformers out there. They know what they're doing, just like follow their model. All right, you're coming up on some rings. You might have seen them in the forest level. Ooh, and then here's some hot air balloons. Oh,
Yeah,
oh, there
I'm like
you go.
going up and down, up and down, boingy, boing.
Whee! There you go. Awesome. Ooh, I don't think it was supposed to be done that way, but hey, if it works, I say go for it. All right, you may have noticed that the cloud, as you go higher, the clouds are changing colors
Yeah,
because you're going up the different atmospheres. You have your troposphere, mesosphere, stratosphere. I think the stratosphere is at the very top. And then I think mesosphere is where weather happens. And so we wanted to, not only can you see, oh dang, well done. Like you're going up, but it also, we wanted like color changes, so you also had like a visual letting you know like, okay, you're getting higher, you're in a different area, an indicator, a color indicator showing that you're making progress. And then there's this weird cloud enemy coming up. Be careful. That was made by the lovely Merriman Games. And I think all it does is grab you. It doesn't hurt you, it pushes you off. But don't quote me on that because I'm not too sure. Yeah, I made a few assets for this, but when it comes to the bonus levels, the lovely Merriman Games just, he kind of like will either ask me for assets like, oh, could you make a pterodactyl? Oh, of course I can make a pterodactyl. And then he just like builds them out, and they're just very simple, tide you over until the next big level. That's the goal. It's just a nice little treat to tide over our lovely patrons, our lovely beta testers until the next big level. Nice. Okay, so we got some birds coming up. Yeah, you got some planes. I did have a little talk with Merriman Games where I mentioned, well, the what was it? I think there was something about the birds were too high. I don't remember. I think he had airplanes closer, lower, and I'm like, well, that logically doesn't make sense because airplanes are going to be above the clouds. Airplanes are going to be, way up in the sky. And I don't think you did Rattopolis yet, but those airplanes are modeled after a drawing I made called Cheese Air, and it's basically just like a Big J's airplane. Nothing too fancy. Used as a means of platforming and navigating. Finding assets to make for this level has definitely been a challenge because it's a cloud-based level, so you're in the sky. So I'm like, okay, well, what things are in the sky? I guess we could do birds. Birds are in the sky. Clouds are in the sky. Weather balloons, satellites, alien spaceship. What should? Trying to figure out so finding assets for this was definitely. I had to look. My method to figure out what would be the best thing was I literally looked up pictures of the sky and the pictures of the atmosphere, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see what's in the sky and what can I make. Right, this should be similar to the Sandbird from Super Mario Sunshine. I don't know did you ever play Super Mario Sunshine?
No, but I kind of want to, but since it's going to be added to NSO on GameCube for Switch 2.
Ooh, Switch 2! Yes, Merriman Games actually hasn't played Super Mario Sunshine. And when he was telling me about, oh yeah, the airplanes twist and turn and you have to navigate that and da-da-da-da-da, I'm like, oh, that sounds like the infamous Sandbird level from Super Mario Sunshine. He's like, what are you talking about? He had no idea.
If anything, if we're talking about, the minute you said Sandbirds and Mario, I think back to when I played Mario 64 DS, and those big buzzards would always scare me as a child whenever they had little stars under their feet and I had to go near grab them.
Yes.
See, whenever with the sound off, I wasn't afraid, but the first time I experienced hearing the bird, when I grabbed the star from the bird, I went, ah! I'm like, oh, that scared me. And it would attack me, and it would scare me, terribly.
I bet. And then those are satellites. Oh!
I fell free
No worries.
falling.
And that falling animation is new-ish. Because Big J would fall, and he wouldn't react, and I'm like, okay, well, let's add some, falling animations. Oh, and that was a nightmare, because I kept recommending, okay, well, let's just model it after, Donkey Kong 64. They have really funny falling animations. Merriman Games well, what about how my rats fall? How they wiggle? I'm like, listen, if you want to do wiggling, well, he made it for me and it took him 3 days. He's like, look what I did, and it was just a tail wag, and I'm like, bud, that's not a falling animation. What is this? And I told him to you're gonna have to exaggerate it. What is when Diddy falls? He moves his whole body. And so the falling animations they've gotten so much better. Thank you, Merriman Games. They look really good.
Also, hi, Chris Noah. Welcome in.
Yes! And then watch out. You're running over Poopy.
Ew. Oh, uh-oh. It buffered. Oh no, the game closed. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh gosh. Okay, I'll write that down. Do you know what happened? I can report that as a bug.
It was, the game just, crashed and it exited, so, that's what happened.
Uh-oh. Well, if you're able to get it back up, feel free to check out Sugar and Squeaks. It's one of our newest levels. It's very casual, and it's literally a giant cake, if you're able to get it back up and running.
I got it back up.
Oh, and look, it even has Cloud Ratless. Haha. Oh, this is so gorgeous. I love this level. Now, while I really like this level, and it looks really good... Sorry, you got run over by a train.
I got run over by a train. How goes the game so far? It's really cute.
Very cute. The only problem with this level, I shouldn't say the only problem. It's not very platform heavy. So we consider this level to be more of like a break. Something for those that maybe want to play the game but aren't good at platformers. Who am I thinking of? I'm thinking of literally my mom.
Oh.
She's like, I want to play this game, but I'm not good at platformers. I'm like, Mom, if you want to play this game, and you totally can, I think you should play the dessert level because you can literally just walk around a giant cake and just chill and be casual and have fun.
Oh, sorry, I'm like getting a text from my mom real quick.
She heard me talking about my mom. No worries. Ooh, since you are on the pause menu, I'm going to talk about the pause menu, if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
I'll keep talking about it. So I did draw that controller overlay. Someone at IGDA recommended that we have a controller overlay that shows like, okay, this is how you run, this is how you jump. It basically like explains how to play the game with the controller overlay, which is great. And I just used, for the design, I just basically did Pro Controller, and I did that shape. And the color scheme is, of course, the colors you'd see. Oh, wait. So what farm are we on right now? Did you see that?
I was looking at the farm a minute ago. Yeah, let me check. We are at the,
You've passed the sign. You have to go past
Kent's.
that. Go. Yes, it's the Kent farm. What's in the house?
Kent's?
No, go to that's the barn. Go to the house. What's in the house?
A battery? Oh my.
That's a barn.
Oh!
The house is next door.
That is so cute. I love the little sweet, rolls you got there. Those are, I always forget.
Yes, those are supposed to be hay bales, but they're like Swiss rolls. Exactly.
Swiss rolls. Ugh. I'd go for a Swiss roll right now.
Anyway, so the house has a spaceship inside because it's the Kent farm.
Nice.
So if you get the joke, you get it. If you don't worry about it. Anyway, so IGDA recommended that we do a control overlay. Great, yeah, we should do that. And the design is just based off of the Big J's colors, and even like the little triggers and bumpers are like the little ears, and it's really cute, and I like it. Are there any sweets here that get your mouth watering?
Cookies.
Yes, I call them cookie dough rocks.
Ooh.
Yes, and then we have some gumdrops. We have some lollipops. We have some whipped cream trees. And your health is what's called a petite four, or if you want to Americanize it, petit four.
Nice.
This is making me want to get cookies. You should go get cookies. Look at, and then we have giant like heart-shaped boxes, and if you destroy them, of course, chocolate comes out. Like, this is such a cute level. This is a really sweet level.
I like this. I think this is my favorite.
It's definitely my favorite, and it's very casual. It's very chill. There should be flan on the north, south, east, west sides of the cake to get you to the second level. And of course, the enemies are... Yes! Oh my gosh,
Grace.
Yes, it is a reference to Smallville. Not only is it a reference to Superman Clark Kent, it is specifically the house from Smallville. And I got to meet Michael Rosenbaum last week!
Yo, that's awesome.
Yes, I love Smallville. Oh, if y'all ever get a chance to meet Michael Rosenbaum, he is a very nice man. I recommend it.
Were you at Fan Expo Dallas last weekend?
Not as an exhibitor. I was at Dallas Fan Expo specifically as a customer because my friend, he texted me like literally like at 6 a.m. He's like, oh my gosh, Addie, the whole cast of Smallville is going to be at Dallas Fan Expo. We have to go. I'm like, oh my God. Even Michael Rosenbaum? Yes, Michael Rosenbaum's gonna be there. You have to go. I'm like, oh my God, I'm so excited. So we both go to Dallas Fan Expo. I got to see a lot of my friends there. And yes, I got to meet Michael Rosenbaum. Oh my gosh. Ah!
I still think
Wonderful man.
See, funny enough, when around this time last year, it showed up on my Facebook memories. 1 year ago, I met actor Neil Newbon, who plays Astarion in Baldur's Gate 3. And about a year ago, I went to Dallas Fan Expo only to meet him. I was like,
yeah.
Oh, it's been a year. When did the time go?
Wow. Yes, someone just mentioned Flash, aka Lex Luthor. Yes, Michael Rosenbaum voiced Flash in the Justice League series. He also voiced Kid Flash in Teen Titans.
Oh!
So, yes! So I didn't want Michael Rosenbaum's autograph because I already have that. I listened to his Inside of You podcast, so I got a lovely mug signed by him. All I wanted was I wanted to make him a paper craft. I wanted to give it to him just as a means of saying, Michael, thank you. You're wonderful. I'd like blah, 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 whatever. I'll have to check that out. Anyway, I make a Kid Flash paper craft and I give it to him, and the nicest man ever. He's like, oh my gosh, is this me?
What
Did you
fun.
make this?
I'm going to fucking
You're so
kill you.
amazing. You're so wonderful.
Thanks, Chaos. While you were talking about that, Chaos redeemed the story, and I'm going to fucking kill you. Sound redemption.
Yay! Got a giant windmill. Okay, you collected all the batteries. If you want, you can go back to the beginning, or you can keep like goofing around. And then what do you think of these giant pickles or cucumbers?
They're funny. It reminds me of Pickle Rick.
Usually people say the thwomps, but Pickle Rick, that's the first one.
Pickle Rick!
They are so gross. I specifically made them as gross as possible. Oh, that's what I was trying to say. The enemies in this game are vegetables.
Oh.
I was debating that. Yeah, I was debating that because I'm like, well, I don't know what kind of like message that sends, but it's funny, you know, like the whole area is sweets, and so who wouldn't like sweets? Well, I guess radishes, carrots, and cucumbers. And then you'll see on the walls some lovely tarts, and we have many different flavors.
Nice. Alright, Kuzunoha, later.
Later. I need to head out for work. Oh, well, thanks for stopping by for work. Before work, excuse me. We have a lovely candy cane forest. We have a lovely, and those are the carrots. I don't know if you can see it, but the water tower, it's that weird beehive looking thing. That's supposed to be a water tower. But if you're a sugar-based creature, water would probably dissolve you. What would be the best, like, liquid-based sugar thing for, you know, a dessert level? Honey!
Ah, smart.
All right, so the train can now take you to the giant pie if you want to battle the boss, or if you want to. A cookie cutter enemy would be very original. Holy crud, that's a really good idea. Cookie cutter. Well, we're still in early access, so I'm not against the idea of a cookie cutter. I'm not against that. I like that. Alright, so if the cookie cutter enemy was like attacking you, would it like make shapes? Oh, okay, this is actually, I'm thinking too much into this. I'm making it like too complex. There's 2 people working on this game. So we've had to trash a few ideas because we literally didn't have the manpower for it. Like for the Owl Temple, which is an unlockable level, I had the idea of, okay, well, as you unlock the doors, maybe we could go through like a day and night cycle. So you start off and it's daytime, you unlock a room, it triggers like dusk, you unlock another room and it triggers evening, etc. But we don't have the manpower for that just yet. And in fact, the lovely Merriman Games recently fixed an issue with the Steam Deck. I don't know if you heard anything about the Steam Deck issues, Miss Beth?
No, what was going on with the Steam Deck?
So, if a game was made using Godot, which our game was, as well as, I think, Bullet Roulette, I don't remember what the other one was called, I apologize. There were several games on the Steam library that were made using Godot. And if you tried to play them on the Steam Deck, it wouldn't load. It was a huge issue, and this issue had been around for like, I think it popped up and a bunch of programmers were trying to fix it for like, I believe a month and a half. And the lovely Merriman Games, alongside other indie developers, had to work together to solve the issue, because Steam's like, okay, well, the issue is you need an updated version of Godot, and you need this, da-da-da-da-da. It's like, okay, well, we can't do that because XYZ programmer stuff. But they were able to officially find a workaround, so you can officially play this game on the Steam Deck. This is Steam Deck compatible. That was a huge issue. By the way, you can ride the train if you want.
Alright.
But that was fixed. Ooh, yeah. have fun. I made like, in order to do this level, I made a giant list of like, okay, what kind of sweets could I make? What sweets do I like? So I put like pedophores, tarts, meringue, cookies, of course, all sorts of fun stuff. Um, and I tried to make it as like creative as possible. Yes, all right, it's gonna take you to the giant pie because of course there's a giant pie in Dessertland.
Insert the. Oh my god, the Pop Tarts! I love that.
Yes, the lovely tarts are on the side. Yes. All right. You're about to battle the ice cream boss, okay? I'm gonna give you all my energy. You got this. You got this. Oh, make sure to. Oh no! It's okay.
Failed.
If you want to try Rattastic again, you can. What are you thinking, Sweetness?
I guess we could probably just now go to the Q&A if that is good to go.
Sure. You showed Sugar and Squeaks. That's like my favorite level. You did a little bit of Boggles Beach, Weird Woods. Yeah, we could do some Q&A. That sounds great.
Yeah, we kind of did almost everything. But that was really cute. All right, guys, let me just pull up my Q&A on my Google Docs, and then I'm gonna minimize your Foogie just a little bit, and then get me close to you. And then
There's me.
Yeah, let me just get my camera. And chat, once I'm done asking my questions. If you guys got questions, feel free to ask. Once I finish asking the questions. So, alrighty, let me get some copyright-free music going real quick. Let me find some. Let me get some lo-fi DMCA-free music. That way we can have some good lo-fi DMCA free. Here we go. Get my. I've had that one I use since I unboxed my Switch 2. All right. So, since you were my first question is, since you were the co-developer, what kind of inspired you to kind of like help out with the game, such as Big J's Rattastic Adventure?
Oh, excellent question. Merriman Games is the developer. This is his first time doing a 3D world video game.
Mm-hmm.
And he had been telling me that he was doing a rat-based video game for a while. And then he just asked me, and this man was like the best man at my wedding, so we're good friends.
Aww.
And he just straight up asked me, Addie, do you want to do the artwork for this? Would you like to join me on this? And it's just been a wonderful partnership. Since we both have ADHD and we both know how to like properly accommodate, working with Merriman Games has just been phenomenal. I can just straight up tell him, no, I can't do that because XYZ. And sometimes he'll straight up tell me, Addie, while I can make that happen, it would probably take me over 40 hours and it just would not work. So the communication is just great. He just asked me to be a part of it, and I'm a part of it now.
That's cool. Yeah. Alright. That's really, really cool about how you kind of worked on that. That's really cool. Alright. My second question is to you. What was the fun stuff about making the game? Like, helping make it the game as it is right now in early access?
Great question. The best part about doing this game is brainstorming new levels and coming up with fun, goofy, like rat puns. For example, in the level select, the level of the beach is called Boggles Beach. Do you know what it means when a rat boggles?
No.
When a rat boggles, when it's really, really happy.
Oh
so
my.
Boggles Beach is basically Happy Rat Beach.
Oh, that's so cute.
So just like brainstorming, coming up with fun rat puns, coming up with fun techniques and puzzles. It's just been great. Like, we'll throw ideas out, like, okay, what about this? Like, for example, the wonderful Merriman Games, I made cannons and cannonballs for the beach level. And Merriman Games asked me, Addie, do you think people would like to use the cannons to shoot at the boss octopus? Oh my god. Yes, they would! Let's do that!
Alright. What were the challenges of making the game?
So the biggest challenge for me, at least, was learning how to make assets using the program Magica Voxel. You may have noticed that the assets looked kind of like Minecraft.
It did, yeah.
Yeah, and so there are certain shapes that have just been like that used to be really hard for me. I mentioned a while back about how the beach level went through redesign, and I only recently was confident enough to make shells. So the hardest part for me was being able to learn how to model basically using cubes. And then the hardest part for the programmer is he has never done a 3D game before. So this is both a learning curve for us. There were a lot of things through programming he didn't realize. Like he thought he was going to get finished with this game in like 3 months. He's like, oh, this will be a short project. We'll get it done in like 3, 4 months. We have been working on this since December of 2023.
Oh,
Yeah, a long time.
really? Yeah, like almost like about to be a year and a half, almost 2 years now. And that was actually gonna be my my next question. How long did development take?
We're still in development.
That was like when I was brainstorming questions like a couple days ago. I'm just like, and when you said it was early access, I was like, oh, so it's not like
Yeah.
officially out. So I got to play the early access. Okay, okay,
Yes, you
okay.
did. We're still going to be releasing new levels. You can so check us out at Classic Games Fest. We're going to be demoing it there. We're going to be showcasing the pumpkin themed festival. I'm super excited about it. Beth, I literally made a Ferris wheel, a bunch of spinny rides. I Magica Voxeled rides, functional rides. Oh, so
Yeah,
fun.
and that was like about to be my next question about other conventions you'll be attending, you'll be going to, and then showing the game. And like you said, you're going to be showing this at Classic Game Fest here in our area in Austin. But if you're feel free to share other cons you want to show off your art and all that fun stuff.
Sure. In 2 weeks, I will be at Comic Palooza in Houston. So from June 20th through the 22nd, I'll be in Comic Palooza. I will be doing Greater Austin Comic Con the weekend before Classic Games Fest. Oh, so I might not actually be at Delta
Yeah,
H
you
because I
probably
think I'll
won't
be
be
at.
at Delta H Con then.
Yeah, because I'm doing Greater Austin. Oh man,
I
I'm gonna be so busy in July.
Tell me about it. But and then one random question that came in my head. Another thing. Since I mentioned how you have you've got ADHD, I struggle with my learning disability known as language dysgraphia. And sometimes there are moments where, whenever I'm streaming or gaming off stream, there are moments where I kind of get lost in the plot sometimes, and it's hard for me to catch on. So would you say, like, did the ADHD kind of a little bit... Oh god, what's the word? Did your ADHD kind of affect the development?
Yes, in weird ways. Um, for example, when you have ADHD, you really struggle with your executive functioning. ADHD is basically an executive functioning disorder. So, the issue of time management. We originally Merriman Games wanted, I think like 8 levels for early access. Early access, and I'm like, listen, bud, and I had to pull out like a timeline and I had to like mark it and explain to him. It took us 2 months just to do one level. There is no way we can
Bless
do
y'all.
five. Yeah, there's no way we can do 5 more levels in 3 months. That's just not possible. And he'll listen to me. At first, he'll be like, "No, I can," and then he's like, "No, you're right." So time management, huge thing, as well as procrastination. But Merriman Games and I are really good at holding each other accountable. If you have ADHD and you have a good friend, try this. In order to force myself to get things done on a timely manner, I text Merriman Games and I tell him, okay, I will finish the Dino level select screen for you by end of day Friday. And then if I don't, he'll text me like, hey, where's that Dino level screen? Where is it? By the way, I finished it, but holding each other accountable really helps with date and time management because
Mm-hmm.
that was the biggest struggle, as well as sometimes you'll have like valleys of like or wells of no creative influence. Oh, that's so frustrating, where I'm like, what should I do for this level select? Because I did all the artwork. All that artwork you saw in the level select, that was drawn by me. I did all that drawing. I did all the achievements. And then sometimes I'm just not feeling inspired, so that would be another ADHD struggle.
Yeah. All right, chat. We are now opening the floor to you guys who've got questions. We got one question from my mod, Grace. But before we even get to that, if you guys got any questions you guys want to ask Addie, please make sure you write it down, and we will see you guys do that. But probably do it, yeah. But Grace asked, are you considering of having like a house level where the boss is a rat's worst enemy, a cat?
We haven't been considering a house level originally. Oh my gosh, I can't. When we first were doing this, the very first level we were going to do was going to be a laboratory because what do they test things on? Rats. Yeah, and so the very first level was going to be a laboratory, and I even still have those assets of like tiled floor. You might have seen on the level select screen, there is no laboratory. There may be a laboratory, but we have not considered house, although we do have cat enemies in Rattopolis. We consider them stray kitty cats.
Aw.
And one of the cats is based on my sister's cat, as well as she recorded her cat meowing, making sounds, and that's used in game.
Very nice. All right. Cosmo has asked, are you going to introduce either cutscenes or dialogue later in development?
We haven't even considered that. Before we even do, actually, no, cutscenes. What we were thinking, and this was just like a casual brainstorm. If you've ever done a revolving sushi restaurant, have you ever been to a revolving sushi restaurant,
yeah.
Beth?
I have. Have you ever been to the Kura?
Yes. So if you eat if you feed the machine like 15 plates, I think it's like 15, you'll get like a short little video, and it's very cheaply made. Like it's kind of like Flip-O-Rama from Captain Underpants.
Oh my
so if
god!
we were to
That's my childhood!
So if we were to do cutscenes, it would probably be something really simple, like maybe Rat goes to Cheese, Cheese disappears, Rat cries, and he's like, now I must go on adventure, or something. It'd be something as silly and simple as that. So if we were to do cutscenes, it'd be really simple. In terms of dialogue, maybe not dialogue. I don't know. These are great questions. I'm not sure. I know we do plan on having a goth rat girlfriend in the pumpkin festival, and I do want her to be interactable. I don't know if she'll say anything. Maybe she'll do like squeak squeak or something. But I don't think there's gonna be dialogue.
Especially, yeah, because like after playing a little bit, I can see. I'm like, I don't know if like that would be a game. This would be a game for cutscenes, but it's really cute though.
It could be like simple intro cutscene, ending cutscene, like maybe the rat's like, thanks for playing, and like runs across the screen or something.
Yeah. And I do like how you made like how it's all 3D pixel art, because I've been slowly getting into pixel art a few years ago. I tried drawing in pixel art, even though it's very challenging, but it's really, really, really fun.
Fair enough. I'm a paper crafter myself, so it's definitely been a challenge doing the 3D pixel art, because sometimes people will ask me like, "Oh my gosh, did you do each of those individual pixels?" Well, now that I know how to properly work Magic of Voxel, it's a lot easier to start with a big shape and then just like whittle it down to the form you want rather than building it from scratch.
All right, chat. Does anyone else have got any other questions? While we patiently wait.
Sure.
Anybody else got any questions to ask? Yeah, I can't believe Greater Austin Comic Con's the same weekend as Delta. It's like, because I remembered one year it was the same weekend during San Japan, and I didn't go to that one because I was at San Japan.
That's just so silly, because there's not many comic book conventions in Austin. There's a lot of furry conventions, but there's not many comic book.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of, like, big local ones other than IkiCon, that's usually in January, and then we had OkashiCon, which was in Pflugerville, and it was a small convention, but it was still a really fun con. I've been there twice. And then, Cosmo, the only gaming convention we have here in our town is, Classic Game Fest. But
I did go to Houston Gaming Expo, and in fact, that's where I met Drew Breedlove, as well as some
ooh.
other like cool voice actors. But like, I know San Antonio has the 8-bit Expo thing.
Oh,
I
I know
have
which
been
one you're
doing.
talking about.
It was not good. I did it like 2 years ago. It wasn't very good, although I have changed up my stuff, so I could try it again as long as nothing's happening. Um, so I know there's one in San Antonio, Houston, Delta HCon. I think is both a
Anime and
it's not
gaming.
pure. Yeah, and then there's I think DreamCon is technically a video game con. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
Um,
I can't remember, but yeah, normally, but yeah, kind of just like even during the summertime though, it's just we've only gotten just that one convention in our town in Texas, and it's Classic Game Fest. And I'm like, I wish they could just give us a little more, so that way I don't have to go to Dallas, or I don't have to go to Houston or San Antonio. But I'm just like, just give me some more local stuff. But that's okay though. 2 is enough. And I still love going to Houston and seeing my girls, and also love going to San Antonio. And then yeah, trying to but kind of going back to OkashiCon. Have you ever been to OkashiCon?
that sounds really familiar. I
It's
might have.
it was in it was in Pflugerville. They were a non-profit convention. It wasn't and it was anime in particular, but it was mainly focused on Japanese fashion and culture. And it was such a cute con. I loved going to, and last year they just decided to shut that con down. I think mainly because it wasn't doing so good financially, because it was a really, really small con. And yeah, it was all the way out in Pflugerville, but I really loved that con. It made me sad last year that it shut down. I was like, hey, but I was the same time, because I was unemployed last summer. I was just like, hey, I mean, I can't complain really about that.
I think I applied to it, but I don't think they accepted me because I'm seeing it on my I'm seeing it on my spreadsheet. Yeah, I don't think they accepted me. You know who denied me twice, even though I met the chairman and he saw my paper crafts? You know who denied me twice?
Who?
IckyCon.
What?
IckyCon denied me twice, even though the chairman literally saw my handcrafted paper art with his own eyes. Wow, this is really cool. Have you applied? So I apply, freaking like, oh, whatever. Whatever. I'll take a breath.
Sheesh. Oh boy. Good old
I could not
IckyCon.
explain the logic behind it. I don't know. I greased all the right palms. I still can't get into IckyCon. I don't even bother with San Japan because their rules are a freaking novel. And if they just think you broke the rules, you're immediately banned. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to deal with that.
Okay, that's weird.
That's for Artist Alley and stuff, though. I'm sure you're
God.
fine.
Yeah, no, Cosmo, we don't talk about the WeebCon. No.
I only hear it from the artist perspective. What happened?
It's just a weird con in general, but I wish I could have attended this year, because Ben Starr was a guest there. But Dallas is like, considering Dallas is 3 hours away from Austin, I'm just like, it's too far. I can't do that, especially even if I were to drive. I couldn't do it. But I just heard last year had a lot of drama that I'm not gonna get too into. Like, staff was a little rude, and then there's a cosplayer in the con community all around the world who goes by the name of Whole Wheat Pete. He caused a lot of trouble last year about, like, even going near around the convention fountain and saying cosplayers couldn't go near that. That guy was just trouble.
Good grief.
Kamikaze Con was a former Houston con that also ceased to exist. Ugh.
Kamikaze. Oh my gosh. Beth, do you remember Anime Austin like 2 years ago?
Oh yeah, that's where we met, actually.
God, that con sucked.
God, I only went because Blake was a guest there, and that's how we met. Because as I was so tired and hungover from Disney World, I was just quote unquote assistant slash handler, and I was just like, and you and me became such fast friends, and that's how we actually met, chat. At Anime Austin, and oh my God, Anime Austin, it was the fucking, because we're gonna get into the bad stuff about Anime Austin, y'all. If we're talking about shit about cons, let's talk about Anime Austin. And how that con is just never gonna come back. Never,
It shouldn't.
ever. Because, first and foremost, the badges were made by paper. Paper badges, chat. So I go to the bar, I get a drink, and I'm in my 2B cosplay because I brought my cosplays with me, even though I didn't cosplay for majority of the weekend. But I go in at the bar as 2B, and then my badge rips off. And I'm like, fuck! What am I gonna do? And so my friend got me some tape, and I had to tape it back on, but it was bad, dude. And I remembered, one of the local Texas artists, Starfish. I can't remember their name fully, but I know it's Starfish in the con community. Do you know that artist, Addie?
I don't.
Okay. I'll probably mention. I'll send you the little vlog that the artist talked about 2022. But apparently, like, they were not communicative well enough. Anime Austin wasn't communicative well enough with the artists who applied back in 2020. Like, if you applied for a table at Anime Austin in the year 2020, but then it got canceled back in 2020 and 2021 because of COVID, if you applied for a table, though, you did get rolled over and they were allowing it, but they were just not communicative well enough for the rollover artist, and don't get me started. Even when I went to the artist alley about the whole, the thing between the thing, do you remember, the artist to the other artist alley, but
Vendors, exhibitors.
yeah, it was the vendors and exhibitors, but then they were like, there was a tight space between a lot of artists and a wall. Do you
Yeah,
remember?
because they were in a freaking hallway. They, like, when I went on site and it was a first come first serve, they didn't have a freaking layout. That was their biggest mistake. They didn't have layout. They asked me, "Oh, would you like this lovely table in this hallway?" I'm like, "Fuck no, I don't want that. That's not wheelchair accessible." And so they're like, "Okay, what about this room with the VAs?" I'm like, "Oh, hell yeah, I want that room."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was bad. Girl, so I was very lucky. Apparently, since the tables were first come, first served, since it was like 30 minutes from my house, I just drove up and I'm like, okay, I'm here for my table. They're like, okay, cool. And so I got like basically first dibs. Now, and I didn't realize it was because of rollover. I thought they just overbooked. But a lot of people that paid for a corner didn't get their corner. A lot of people that paid for their exhibitor booth didn't get their exhibitor booth because they started getting overflowed and they moved artists who didn't pay for an exhibitor booth into the exhibitor room.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people who probably rented out hotels to stay down here had to be turned away. It was bad.
Oh my God. Ugh. And then I went to, like, one 18+ panel. There was just, like, one person on staff was just on their phone. And they didn't even card. They didn't card for any of the 18+ panels.
Oh my gosh. Well, my husband came by to like drop food off and I told him, okay, well just text me when you're outside and I'll let you in. He goes in, comes straight to my booth. He's like, here's your lunch. I'm like, babe, what? How did they let you in? He's like, I don't know. I just was able to get through. So they weren't even like checking badges and stuff.
It was messed up. Their staff was a little lazy, I will admit.
Lazy or unorganized?
Lazy, unorganized. And even when I went there to get my badge, they accidentally scanned my badge twice and were like, did someone check in for you? And I'm like, no. I got it scanned. And then they were like, oh, we just scanned it twice. It's like, what the fuck?
And you were someone's handler, and golly, that was difficult. Dang.
Yeah.
You didn't even get like VA treatment. Oh, I'm
No,
sorry,
well,
cutie.
no, I paid for a weekend badge. I just bought a weekend badge. I only did it because my VA friend was in town and I wanted to see him, but because I had just gotten back from Disney World, and I was super jet lagged, I was just like, I'm just gonna see if he needs help. I'm not even gonna cosplay. I need to just chill out. Because I've been at Disney World and I'm like, eh. But, yeah. But. Trying to think.
I mean, we can.
What's up?
I was just gonna say. I mean, we can keep talking about stupid ass conventions, or if anyone has any other questions, we could go for that.
Yeah, we can keep talking about, if y'all have got any other questions, make sure you write it down in the chat, but, we could probably talk for another 15-20 minutes about con experiences.
Sure. Okay. I did Anime Riverwalk a couple of weekends ago,
And I saw you
and
there.
yes, you did. And my lovely friend Adam joined me, and he helped me out.
Nice.
Uh, I told Adam, I'm like, listen, Adam, since you're helping me out, I'll do you a favor, okay? Are there any voice actors at Anime Riverwalk that you're interested in? Tell me, and I'll make 2 paper crafts. One to give to the voice actor, and then another one to get signed. And if you're lucky, because you might be able to get a free signature. I've gotten a lot of free signatures. Sometimes not even trying. Sometimes voice actors will come to my booth, sign something, and then they tell me charge more for that now. I'm like, oh god, okay. Anyway, so he makes a list and he's like, okay, I'm debating between these 3 people. I'm like, okay, you have to pick one. And he's like, okay, how about this VA? And so I look up the character and it's a freaking Genshin Impact character. And I'm like, boy, I am not paper crafting a Genshin Impact character for free. That's gonna be way too much work. I ain't dealing with that. His second choice was I don't know the guy's name, and I've written it several times. The main character from Yu Yu Hakusho, the spirit gun wielder. So I made a paper craft of that, and I made 2, and it turned out pretty dang fire, and it was a lot easier than a Genshin Impact character.
Yeah.
So I give them both to my friend Adam. And I tell him, all right, feel free to go either today or tomorrow, whatever. Here they are. So he goes and he's farting around. He's enjoying the convention. He comes back and it's signed. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened? And he said, I got to the front. I gave him the paper craft. Justin Cook, the voice of the character from Yu Yu Hakusho, Justin Cook was like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I told him it was paper craft. He's like, what? That's amazing. And he asked me if I have anything I want signed. And so I present it to him, and then his agent's like, wait, we didn't charge you. So he was this close. He was so close to getting a free signature on the paper craft until the agent was like, no, wait, we have to charge you. Because the voice actor was just ready to just sign it and be like, yes, thank you for this gift. So he had to pay, I think, like $40 or something. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, bud.
Ugh.
What else happened at Anime Riverwalk? Oh,
Yeah, I remembered, if we're talking about what you have to pay, it reminds me of, when I was at Fan Expo Dallas last year. I went up to Ryan Colt Levy's table just to say hi because since I didn't have the money to pay for a picture and autograph, his handler shooed me away because he's like, he's got a panel to do, he can't accept, like, fans walking up to saying hi, and I'm like, unless you have a autograph or you want to get a picture with him, like, we can't do that. I'm like, alright.
okay.
Okay. Oh, Cosmo asked a good question. Have you also planned to do out-of-state conventions?
Great question. Since I typically do conventions by myself, no. If I ever do out-of-state conventions, I'll have to, like, figure out how to convince either my husband or, like, a family friend to go with me, because right now, I'm capable of doing conventions on my own, and occasionally someone will help me, but until I can get, like, a full-time helper, I will not be doing any out-of-state conventions.
Yeah, normally, the only out-of-state convention I normally go to is, Otakon in Washington, D.C., and it's a big as heck convention. Last year was super duper fun because, Ben Starr was there, And
Yay!
I still geek about how I met Ben, and I requested him again for Otakon, and Otakon has not announced English voice actors, and they're 2 months away. I'm like, come on! I want UK actors again. I want to meet Ben. Ben Starr and the cast of Remake. Yeah, they got Remake and 14 actors and some 16 actors.
Ooh.
Yeah, but
Have you met Bryce Papenbrook?
Oh yeah, twice. The first con I met him at was at IkiCon 2017, and then I did a little art of because I both loved him as Kirito and Nagito Komaeda from Danganronpa 2. I was just like, I gotta draw Komaeda and Kirito drawing and get that signed. And he saw it, he's like, oh my god, that is so hilarious. And
Aww.
then 2 years later, he was at Anime CTX in the Round Rock area. And funny enough, like, he remembered me 2 years later, and I went to Anime CTX, like, literally, the first day of the con was my last day of high school. So I went there to celebrate, you know, hey, I finished high school, woohoo! And, I remembered, when, one of my friends who usually videotapes, panels at conventions, he went up to go ask the, actors, hey, can you videotape? I was like, oh, wait, hey, can I come with you for moral support? He's like, yeah, sure. That way, as your moral support, he's like, yeah, sure. And then Bryce kind of looks at me and smiles at me. He's like, He's like, and as I just try to talk to him, and I'm like, don't bug him. And I'm just like, I look away shyly. And then he's like, we've met before, haven't we? And I'm like, and I'm like,
oh, that's so special.
I'm like, oh my god, he remembers me.
Oh my god.
And he was like, yeah, and I told him, oh yeah, I met you way back at IkiCon in 2017. He was like, yeah, IkiCon. I was like, see, I remembered your face, but I couldn't remember your name. What was your name again? I was like, oh, it was Bethan. He was like, oh, Bethan, right. And then he said my name, and I shook his hand, and then I got in the elevator with him one time.
That's so cool.
Because I had to go grab my stuff to go check out of my hotel room, and Bryce was on the phone, and I was like, he got in the elevator as soon as it was getting ready to close, as I needed to get in to grab my stuff. He holds the door for me to come in the elevator, and I'm just standing there, I'm like, and it's both me and Bryce in an elevator.
Oh my gosh!
I'm just like, oh my god, I'm in an elevator with him? I was like,
that's awesome! While I was in Dallas Fan Expo, with my friend, I was off to the side somewhere, and Tom Welling of Clark Kent just walked by me. The man is huge! He's like a giant mountain. He walked by me, and I'm like, oh, don't make eye contact. He's too big. I got nervous.
That's
oh,
funny.
man.
I remember like one time, every time when I met Neil last year at Fan Expo Dallas, I was just like, a lot of people saying like, wow, he's really tall. I'm like, yeah, and I'm short as fuck.
You just like look up at the ceiling, hello, tall man.
Like, I'm literally, like, my height is right near his upper chest. That's like,
oh, that's not too bad.
I'm like,
can you imagine if you were just like, your head went to like his pelvic area? Like, it's just like, okay, I guess I'm talking to your wee-wee now.
Oh my god, but yeah, I have met Bryce Pepperbrook twice, and that was years and years ago.
He was at Bell County Comic Con last year.
Oh, nice.
I will be at Bell County Comic Con this year, and depending on if Armadillo Con accepts me, I should be going to Armadillo Con. They accepted me last year, but I couldn't go because their dates were the exact same as Bell County, and I'm like, well, I know Bell County is like ludicrously, like, I do well there, so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do Armadillo Con, I'm gonna do Bell County. But I have no idea what Armadillo Con is. I think it's like a kids convention or some sort of like book festival. which would still work for my stuff. We'll see. I'm hoping they accept me because it's a local convention and I'm trying to do as much local as I can. Because as I can travel, I can go to Dallas, I can go to Houston. I have the capacity. I have a wonderful friend in Houston that houses me, and then I have a wonderful aunt in Dallas who houses me, so I don't have to pay for hotel. So my break even is really small. Um, so doing local conventions would be the best. And Bryce Papenbrook was at Bell County. Beth, would you ever do Bell County?
I don't think I've ever been to Bell County. What kind of con is that? Is that just a basic Comic-Con or?
Yes. But they rent out like all of the Cadence Bank Center. There's like a section where they have like a petting zoo. Okay, so the biggest problem about the petting zoo is since it's in like this arena with other artists, the artists have to stay in the petting zoo for like the whole 8-hour day, smelling like poop the whole time.
Ew.
So that's not fun.
Oh my god, Grace. Also, Neil's to the unhappy couple video you showed. Yep. Because the picture I took with Neil, it was the live photo. And I look at the whole thing, and it's the whole picture I took with him. And as I took the picture with him, he says in his Astarian voice, "To the unhappy couple." And then my stupid ass giggle. I'm just like,
oh, you had fun.
I know I did. I was like, yeah, giggled like a girly girl. And I'm just like, And, you know, funny enough, I made him a friendship bracelet to, a reference to one of the streams last year that I did when I was playing Baldur's Gate 3 with some online buddies. We had a little, like, squad name, and we put Astarian in as an honorary member. So I made one for him, and then I put it, he asked me, "Oh, do you want to put it on me?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then he says to me in his Astarian, you know what he says to me in his Astarian voice?
What?
Says, "That doesn't mean we're married, darling." And I'm like, ah! I didn't fangirl in front of him. I'm just like, in my mind, my inner mind, I'm just like, oh my god. Talking to me in this Astaria voice. I'm like,
Oh, that is phenomenal. What a beautiful memory. Okay, so as you know, I did Dallas Fan Expo as a customer this year, but like 2 years ago, I was an exhibitor there back when I was selling my Origami Corner bookmarks. That's what I was selling at Anime Austin. I've since graduated from that. And I got to meet Brendan Fraser. Brendan Fraser was at Dallas. Yes, he was at Dallas Fan Expo 2 years ago. So luckily I had a helper. It was my sister. So my mom, my sister, my aunt, and I are all in my aunt's house in Dallas. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get a signature from Brendan Fraser, okay? And they're like, oh my gosh, we're so excited. We can't wait. We all love Mummy. And I brought my like elementary school yearbook. Why? Because next to my little picture, it said, "My hero, Brendan Fraser, my favorite movie, The Mummy." And this is a 5th grader that said that. I know, a weird 5th grader. So I'm in line waiting to get it signed, and there's these lovely people next to me, and we're all chatting, and they're like, "Why'd you bring a yearbook?" And I showed them. They're like, "Oh my god, he's gonna love that." So I finally make it to the front, and the handler's like, "Oh my goodness, what do you have for Brendan?" So I show them. Oh my god, he's gonna love it!
And did he love it?
He did. The only unfortunate thing was his agent was like shooing everyone along. You could tell Brendan wanted to say hi to everyone. He wanted to like talk with everyone, but his handler or someone was like moving everyone along. So I gave him my yearbook. He smiled, a big old smile, and then he wrote next to my picture, "Have a great summer. Love, Brendan Fraser."
Oh, that's so sweet.
It was such a beautiful memory, and I got to be in line with like the coolest people. Oh man, we got to fangirl out about Brendan. They're like, "Oh my gosh, do you remember him from George of the Jungle?" "Oh, I remember him from Bedazzled." "Oh, what about the Mummy series?" Ooh.
The only Brendan Fraser movie I've ever seen as a kid was Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Oh, that's a good one. Although I don't think I want to watch it as an adult. I want to keep it as a good movie in my memory. I don't want to watch it again with my horrible adult eyes and then realize, oh, this movie fucking sucks.
Right. I remember like watching an old Disney Channel original movie that came out when I was a kid, Wendy Wu, Homecoming Warrior. I'm just like, I knew the plot of when I watched it as a kid, and then just watching it as a teenager, I slowly understood the plot. I'm like, now that I'm watching this as an adult, I'm like, I fucking love this movie.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
There are some DComs that just are like really good. I really want to watch The Color of Friendship. It was like based on a true story. I saw some guy like review it, and I'm like, fuck, this looks like a good movie. I don't know if you've seen it.
Hmm. I don't think I've seen it. I've not seen that, no.
The Color of Friendship is a DCOM, and it's the main star is a little black girl, and this is important because she's begging her parents to get a transfer student from Africa. Beg, 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 beg. So they finally get a transfer student from Africa, but or excuse me, it's from South Africa, and it's a white girl, and she is huge into apartheid or whatever it's called. And so it's basically a story of like, yeah, The Color of Friendship, where our main protagonist is explaining to this transfer student, actually there's a lot of genocide happening in South Africa. You're actually wrong, and they argue, and it actually is well done to the point where our transfer kiddo doesn't immediately like believe her. She's like, no, you're wrong. Da 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 da. And it takes a very long time. And it was actually based on the true story of, yeah, this young girl from South Africa went to America for like a it's called like foreign exchange. Foreign exchange. That's what it's called. Foreign exchange student.
Mm.
And she gets like a new perspective, goes back and starts fighting against it. And then when the family stopped getting letters from the girl, they just assumed that she got killed.
Oh.
So not the most happy of endings, but it's still like a lovely movie of like friendship and diversity, and but like well done, and it like actually like makes sense and stuff. I don't know. I'm doing a terrible job of showcasing it.
Alright. I think that goes a little good wrapping up, probably. Wouldn't you say?
I had a lot of fun. Thank you for hosting me. I'm glad we also got to have a lovely talk about our favorite cons and con artistes or voice
Yes.
actors.
Yeah. And guys, if y'all haven't already, please make sure you check out the early access Big J's Rattastic Adventure. It is currently on Steam for $2.99. The link is in the pinned comment. Please make sure you guys check it out and show some love. And definitely check out Addie's wonderful art on her Insta. If definitely do that, y'all. But that's gonna go ahead and call it. Thank you to everybody who came and stopped by. Mods, thank you for modding. There you go. But that's where you guys can find Addie on her socials if you guys want to go check out her art. Yeah. I'll be back next week. We're gonna be doing some more. We're gonna wrap up on Metal Gear Rising Revengeance next week. And then we're also gonna be playing a little bit of Mario Kart World. I will be testing out the capture card on the Switch too to see how well it runs, so definitely stick around for that. And then mark your calendars, folks. We are going to be playing Stellar Blade once again next Wednesday. It is going to be the release of the both the PC version and the Goddess of Victory Nikkei DLC release. I'm going to be checking out the DLC next week on Stellar Blade and do all that. But nonetheless, guys, have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, stay hydrated, spread the love. We're gonna go raid out, probably, but who are we gonna go raid? Until next time, yes. We got enough people here to do a raid. Let's see. Who's... Aha! Chaos! We will go raid Mr. Chaos. Alright, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.